Hi, second grade. Miss L here. Wow, you have made it to your very last math assessment of second grade. You are going to log into Edulastic and go to the end of year test. There will be 9 problems. I'm going to start by going through each problem, showing you what to do, and then I'm going to zoom in on just a few problems and give you some extra tips. So, looking at the first problem, it says drag numbers to make true number sentences. So you're going to add or subtract to find the answer. And then when you think you have an answer, you're going to click on one of the numbers over here and you're going to put it in the box. Now, I don't know that that's correct, so I'm going to put that back and double check my work. Okay? So go through, solve for the answers, and click and drag. Okay? Make sure that you have something in every single box. Otherwise, you're missing points. For the second problem, it says solve using addition and subtraction. You can draw a place value chart to help you on paper. So if you have pencil and paper at home or anything that you can write on, I recommend drawing this out to help you solve the problem. We know from experience that having a second way to check our work always helps us make sure we get the right answer, okay? So for the first one, 87 plus 56, it's drawn out here for you, but you can also draw it out to double check the work, and then it's lined up vertical. You might want to write that on your paper as well. The second one is 91 minus 24. Again, it's drawn here for you, but you can go ahead and draw it on your own paper, line it up vertically, and solve your problem. The same thing for question 3. Solve using addition and subtraction. You can draw a place value chart on paper to help you. So same exact thing as problem 2. Look at the place value chart they've made for you, look at the problem, and figure out how are you going to solve this. Okay, 2 problems. So make sure you're scrolling. See the scroll bar over here? Make sure you're scrolling all the way from top to bottom and putting in an answer for both. All right, question 4. You will remember we spent about a week going over this as a reteach because this was really tricky. Sally went shopping. She spent $86 on groceries and $39 on clothes. Part A, how much more did Sally spend on groceries than clothes? You can't show your work, but we hope that you write something down at home. Okay. Part B, after Sally's shopping trip, she had $12 left. How much money did she have to begin with? Again, show your work. You can't really, but do your best. And part C, how much money would Sally need to buy the groceries, clothes, and a $55 video game? Show your work. So scholars, the reason we're asking you to show your work is because you're going to need to do some addition or subtraction to solve these problems. Make sure that when you are adding or subtracting, line it up vertical, okay? That'll really help you. If you need to, make a place value chart. Absolutely make a place value chart. Do whatever you need to do to solve these problems, okay? Make sure you have an answer in every single part. So you're just gonna click on the box and type in whatever you think it is. I don't think it's that, I just picked numbers. But make sure that you have something in every box. Number 5 says drag numbers to fill in each box to represent 127 in different ways. So all the numbers you're going to need are over here, okay? Put them in the boxes here. If you want to, you know, if I think this number goes here, but I also think it goes here, you'll see it doesn't really let me do that, okay? So it does let me put it here, but it doesn't let me put it here. Oh, nope, now it does. Okay. That's what I was trying to show you. Sorry, that you can use the same number more than once if you think that it goes in the right spot. Okay, perfect. I was worried. All right. This one says drag the greater than or less than or equal symbols to each box to correctly compare the numbers. So you're going to use greater than, less than, or equal to compare the numbers. And again, you can use the same symbol more than once if you think that's where it goes. Here it says, fill in the blanks to make true sentences. Enter your answers in number form. So 1 less than 750, I'm going to click it, this little box pops up. If I think the answer is 58, I'm going to type in the 5 and the 8. Now, I don't, so I'm going to delete that, but just showing you how that works. Okay, question 8. Joanna made 4 arrays with different numbers of square tiles as shown. Match each array with the number sentence that shows the total number of tiles it contains. So we just did this on our last quiz talking about arrays and multiplication. So you're going to look at each array. There are 4 of them. Scroll all the way down. And you're going to match one of these number sentences, these repeated addition equations, with each array. So you're going to use each one time. Make sure that you're dragging it where you think it goes, okay? Click next again. Question 9. Use the centimeter ruler shown to measure the lengths of lines J and K. It's been a really long time since we did that, so I really hope that you watched Miss Daly's review video on this one. And there's lots of parts, so scroll all the way down. It says drag numbers and words to complete the answer statements. Line J is blank centimeters long. Okay, so it's going to be one of those numbers. Line K is blank centimeters long. Right, here's your line, so make sure you're looking. Together, line J and K measure blank centimeters. It's going to be one of those numbers. Line J is blank centimeters blank than line K. This big box down here, that's going to be your longer or shorter. Is line J longer or shorter than line K, and by how much? Okay? So I'm going to switch over to this real quick, and I am going to zoom in on some of the problems that are on this test just to kind of give you some more helpful tips. So where it said drag numbers and make true number sentences, Mrs. Jones talked about this in her review video the other day, and she said that these were related problems, that if you know one problem, you can know the other one easily. So if you're looking at 26 plus 3, you can see that you're adding to the ones. Here it's 26 plus 30. Again, you have the 3, but it's in the tens place. So you really, really want to be careful and pay attention to 2 things here. What place value are you adding to? And are you adding or subtracting? Because I said adding, but I'm looking at the symbols and I see that the first 2 are adding, the second 2 are subtracting. They're taking away. So look at the sign. Is it adding or subtracting? And look at the place value. Are you doing something to the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place? Make sure that you're not getting tricked, okay? Mrs. Jones also spent a very long time going over every part of this kind of problem super carefully. She was laser focused on showing you the strategies. So you're solving the problem, okay, 87 plus 56, and it's drawn up here in the place value chart. She wanted you to pay attention to a couple of things. Circle the sign, okay, so to know if you're adding or subtracting, lining up your problem vertically, but also drawing out this place value chart so that you can match, make sure that your picture matches your vertical algorithm, okay? Be really careful. Do both parts of the work because good mathematicians double check their work. Sometimes they triple check, okay? So you'll also see problems that are using the place value chart where you are subtracting. And again, pay attention to the sign, line it up vertical, and on your paper, hopefully you've got pencil and paper at home, draw this place value chart out, because just because it's up here doesn't mean that you can put it all in your brain. It's easier if you draw it out and actually manipulate the numbers, okay? All right, so Miss Daly went through a problem like this on her review video, and we talked about how we kind of tend to see numbers one way, and it's easier for us to think about splitting it up into just hundreds, tens, and ones, but sometimes they want you to split up in hundreds and ones or tens and ones. So the important thing to remember is that, first of all, you're pulling numbers from over here, and also you want to use every part of the number in your answer. So if the number is 127, you want to be using the 1, the 2, and the 7 in all parts. Well, you don't have 3 parts here, so you have to split this number up 2 ways. Okay, same thing here. How many hundreds are in that number? How many ones does that leave? How many tens are in that number? Well, you can't put hundreds, so what do you do with the hundreds? Break them apart into tens. Okay, so how many tens? How many ones? Just look at the number really carefully. Look at what you have over here and think about what makes sense. Okay, the most important thing, second grade, is if you are going slow and really taking your time to think about this, you will do better. If you're rushing and just not paying attention, you're going to miss a lot of things. Okay, here's my helpful tip for you. You are using the greater than, less than, or equal to symbols for these. Greater than means that the number is bigger. Less than means that the number is smaller. And of course, equal than means that the numbers are the same. One really helpful tip that Miss Daly shared in her review video is that you should put the numbers all in the same format. So it's hard to know if this number is bigger or smaller than this number because it doesn't look like this number. Put it in standard form, 651s. Put that into standard number form, and you'll be able to very clearly see which one is the bigger or smaller number. Same thing here. Put them into standard form so that you can see what number you're actually working with, okay? Make sure that all the numbers are in the same format, and then you'll have a much easier time determining if they're greater than, less than, or equal to. All right, Miss Daly also talked a lot about this one in her review video, filling in the blanks to make true sentences. You're looking at either 1 or 10 or 100, less or more. Okay, less you're going to be taking away, more you're going to be adding. It's telling you where you're adding or taking away from. 1, it's in the ones place. 10, it's in the tens place. 100, it's in the hundreds place. So start with that. One thing you will have to be careful of is that you might go over a benchmark number. And again, Miss Daly talked about that. A benchmark number would be like when you cross over into the next 10 or you cross over into the next 100. So you might be dealing with 10 more than a number, but it turns out that it actually changes the hundreds. One thing I know that we did in Wisconsin in our class is we lined it up vertically and we added it that way. So if you're really unsure, that can be a strategy that can work for you. But again, just pay attention to what is it asking. Is it asking less, so you're subtracting, or more, so you're adding? Are you working with the ones, the tens, or the hundreds place? Okay, start there, take your time, and you'll be great. Last one I wanted to talk to you about is that ruler question that can be or seem really tricky. Just pay attention to the lines. Miss Daly talked a lot about, oh, well, it ends at 16, so it must be 16 centimeters. But then she said, don't get tricked. You have to go back and see, where does it start? Okay, where does the line start? Oh, it's obviously 10 centimeters. Well, it doesn't start at the edge of the ruler, so you actually have to find out what the difference is. You have to count on. Okay, so don't just look at that biggest number and think that's what it is. Because if you'll notice here, those numbers aren't even listed for you to pull from. So don't get tricked. Look at what the difference is. So how long is line J? How long is line K? Together, line J and K measure blank centimeters. So now you're going to take those measurements and put them together. Okay, what does together mean? Adding, right? You're taking one thing and one thing, putting it together. You're adding. And then that last one we talked about, line J is blank centimeters, then blank, then line K. This is that longer or shorter. I couldn't fit it on my screen, but you'll see the words longer or shorter. So you can clearly see here, is line J longer or shorter than line K? You're going to put that here. How much? You're going to find the difference. So how much longer is it? The difference. You're going to subtract. You're going to take away the two. Okay? Second grade, I know that you guys are going to do great. You've been studying your Eureka Math super, super hard all year long. We have done a lot of review. If you completed the review work with Mrs. Jones and Miss Daly, you're going to be just fine. Again, take your time. Really think about the question that's being asked and think far back in your brain, what strategy did I learn to solve this problem? You are going to do a great job, and we can't wait to see your results. Good luck.